All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. I have my everything off. We're going live for the first time, so we're trying to work out the audio, and it's it'll be a shit show. We'll see what happens. Anyway. Let's jump right into some stupid news and see what happens. We shit on Elon Musk a lot. So I wanted to open with the Elon Musk story because I think it's slightly unfair. Elon Musk's Starlink charges Hurricane Helene survivors $400 for, quote, free internet service. All right. So what happens is he said that you could have free service. The quote catch is you need the setup. It's like saying DirecTV or what's the other one? The satellite. It's like saying satellite TV will say, we'll give you a month for free.
Like Spectrum or something.
What's that?
Spectrum.
Yeah, but you need the dish TV. That's the one I was thinking of. You need the dish. You can't just like say, oh, I've got free DirecTV without the satellite dish. So the story is kind of shitting on Elon for saying that I'll give away free internet, but you do need the setup. So people are saying, oh, he said it was free, but it costs $400. Yeah, you can't. It's not like you could just beam it into your phone for free. You need his setup. So I don't know. It's like it's funny because he had to have known this when he said he was offering it for free, that it would be, there's a hitch, but I don't know.
If anybody was sitting there on their raft thinking Elon Musk is going to help me out of the goodness of his heart and not to make another $1 billion, then you're a goddamn fool.
Oh, I don't know that he was trying to make. I'm sure someone in there knew that it was going to be silly, that there was but it's for the dish as well as shipping and handling and taxes. Yeah, you can't. So if it's $400, say 10,000 people, like he can afford $40,000. Yes, but
sure.
But this is also the guy that said he was going to give free Starlink to Ukraine and then backed off that after a couple months.
Yeah, look, man, he's a billionaire. He's not in the business of doing shit for free. All right, there's got to be a catch. You don't get $130 billion or whatever that guy has because you're all about digging wells and stuff like that. I mean, there's got to be a twist.
Yeah, I mean, he got his finger in so many pies, though. He's got Starlink, SpaceX, Twitter, Tesla. He did admit recently, though, that the boring drill was a ruse, that was bullshit, that he never really intended to make that work.
Yeah. Sorry, I was a little distracted by something in the chat. You said the tunnel thing was a ruse?
Yeah. He said that something about I can't remember. I just read it in passing and I didn't send it to you. But
all right, I'm calling bullshit on that. I heard him talk about that tunnel a lot. I think it's one of those things to where it didn't work out. So he's like, no. I meant for it not to work out. Like he's trying to do
safe
damage
face
control with that. Yes, 100%.
Well, now I'm Googling and I can't even find it, so maybe I'm full of shit, but I know I read it somewhere.
He's doing the Tommy
the fake liberal news thing. Had it.
Yeah. No, he's doing the Tommy Wiseau in the Disaster Artist at the end when they premiere The Room, and he's like, no, I meant for it to be a comedy the whole time. It's
so I'm echoing like a motherfucker. We're being told in the chat. Do you have one of your two things muted? Because I can hear me through you.
Okay, well, if I mute the mic, they're
you
probably
just muted
not
yourself.
going to hear me. Yeah,
you have one of your volumes down. Like I have my computer volume completely off.
Your computer volume's well. Let me try that because it's not letting me turn my phone volume completely off. It's bumping me up to like one level. So let me try that. Let me try to switch this around here. That should.
Thank you for the heads up, guys. We are doing this as the first time we've tried to go live, so we're actively recording the podcast, but going live at the same time. And we're obviously making mistakes, but
that probably made it work worse. Hang on,
now you're playing music.
Let me fix it. Yeah, no, I accidentally did test the speakers. Let me do audio settings, speaker volume. Let me turn that off. That should probably do it, and we should be good to go.
Bless you, Amy.
Yeah, that was my wife
Oh,
sneezing.
test, test, test. I don't hear myself in the background of you now.
Boom, boom. And I'm
Hopefully
just
that should
hearing you
end the
from the.
echo. Yeah, you were hearing me through me and then through
Yeah,
yours. All
okay.
right.
So I got to listen to you through the phone and then turn you off on the
That's
computer.
exactly what I did to keep you from echoing. All
There we
right.
go.
Let's jump to another story. All right, you sent me a story. Let's combine two stories right now. You sent me the story GOP lawmaker who wore blackface in 2006 addresses photo, and I sent you Deadspin loses bid to toss defamation suit over article accusing young Chiefs fan of racism. So two blackface stories in a row. Which okay, first of all, I'm with the judge here. Fuck Deadspin. This little kid, how old? A 9-year-old boy. Now maybe his parents should have known better, but at the same time, the picture of him, he's dressed as a Chiefs fan. He's literally showing team support. And so Deadspin, an author, wrote up an article saying that he's a horrible kid, that he's a racist. And so the family said, you know what? You're picking on our kid. Fuck you. He's a Chiefs fan who also loves his family's Chumash Indian heritage. So he's got a little
I'm
blood in
calling
him.
bullshit on that. I smell a little bit of Elizabeth Warren going on here, but fuck them. They deserve to get Elizabeth Warren on this one. Hey, technically, Your Honor, 168th is still a number. So kiss my Cherokee dick, according to my 23andMe, and give me some money. Pay me out, give me a casino, all of that shit. I'll be raked some over the coals.
That's where I was just going to go. I was just going to say, I hope he wins this case against Deadspin, because if they can prove that he did it as an honor to his heritage, then the family can apply for some of that sweet casino money. So,
or even if they can prove he did it as a way to honor his team, which is what he was clearly doing. Anybody who looked at that and knew anything about sports or football, the Kansas City Chiefs would be like, oh no, he's dressed in Chiefs colors. Like that's what's going on.
well,
And
not
like,
just that,
hey,
he's dressed in Chiefs colors, a full headdress, and here's the important part, a Chiefs jersey at a Chiefs football game. He wasn't just walking around a shopping mall like, hey, everybody, I'm a Chiefs fan. He was at the football game.
well, see, I don't think they should get raked over the coals as bad as like the Covington High kids, because that was like, okay, those kids were getting death threats, and they, I think, a lot more knowingly took shit out of context.
I'm drawing a blank.
I would be willing to bet.
Fill me in. I've forgotten what those kids did.
That was the kid who he was at that pro-life rally.
Oh, Nicholas Sandmann. Nicholas Sandmann.
Yeah, there was the Native American guy with the drum, and they
completely
cut out the video where that guy
his
went over to
name
them.
Was Nicholas
and there
Sandmann. Yeah, he won his lawsuit too.
Right, but the thing is they like straight up cropped the video, and then the kid was getting death threats, so it was a lot worse. This, I honestly believe this could be chalked up to just complete ignorance on the part of the reporter, just because it's like I work in like progressive radio and stuff, and I've heard journalists get sports reference thrown at them, and they have no fucking idea. They're like, you know what I mean? A lot of journalists on that side of the fence really don't watch sports. They might not know what the hell is going on. Well, and they're just looking at it. They're like, oh my God, look at this stadium of people. They're not mocking Native Americans, and they don't know that, that's the team's name. That's the jersey. Yeah. They just don't know what the fuck any of this is.
So two things. One, you can argue all you want whether or not it's in good or bad taste to have the football team named the Chiefs and to do the tomahawk chop. You can argue that, but you can't argue that a 9-year-old kid who loves his football team here's the part that got them in trouble. The author of the article suggested, quote, his parents Phillips found the boy found a way to hate black people and Native Americans at the same time.
He's a blackface and red face. That's the two most racist things you could do. Yeah, like I think that's what the reporter just saw that and was like going with. They don't watch football, man. What do you want?
This kid did get the family. It's Armentas Armentas family. I don't know. They started receiving hateful messages and death threats, with one person threatening to kill Holden, the 9-year-old boy, with a wood chipper, according to the lawsuit. They
a wood chipper, huh? That's oddly specific.
Well, someone who they just watched Fargo, I believe.
I was just gonna
But
say, big fan of Fargo. Love it. Love it. I love the reference. Hey, I'm again. I want to say this right now, especially since we're live on YouTube. We can't edit it. I am against killing 9-year-olds with wood chippers. However, if you're gonna make the threat, I love a good Fargo reference. Let's talk about the good things that the guy who threatened the 9-year-old did.
I do not want to make this a reoccurring theme because I know I did it last week. I'm gonna do it again. Jake, you got to stop this, but I have to give you credit where due. Brave. Brave stance, being against killing 9-year-olds. Brave stance. You are taking a stand, and Jake, I got to give you props for it. I mean, you're probably going to get canceled.
We'd be getting a lot more ad money if we just gave in to the big 9-year-old death threatening corporations, demands, but we won't do it. We've got integrity.
Yes. Later on in the article, so after getting so much shit in the lawsuit, Deadspin later updated the article, removing his picture and changing the headline to read, "The NFL must ban native headdress and culturally insensitive face paint in the stands." Now, if that's the stance you want to take,
right,
do that first. That's exactly what I just said, is if you want to have a discussion about what, I mean, I guess I can't even remember the fucking
right.
stupid.
At that point, you got to take it up with the team. You take it up with the team. If you don't want people showing up with Native American stuff on, you got to have the team not name it after Native American things. And one could argue like the Redskin, totally different thing. That was a slur. This is you could argue in the same vein, the Chiefs thing. It's it might be insensitive, but you could also make the argument, well, it's paying honor to leaders, to Native Americans the same way Vikings. You know what I mean? That's not
the Seminoles worked it out.
Just Norwegian people,
The Florida Seminoles, the college team, worked it out with the Seminole tribe.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I think there's a spectrum of this, right? Like on one extreme of the spectrum, you have the Redskins, a team that was straight up just a racial slur, right? And then the other end is like a specific tribe, and the logo is the tribe's logo, and they work with the tribe, and they're all about it, And so I don't know, even this author who's like, this 9-year-old is a Nazi, I think they would have a hard time bashing the Florida State Seminoles. Somewhere in the middle is kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not really, it doesn't seem like they're attempting to be offensive, but you could see how it could be portrayed that way. So
you get 60,000 people doing this. That could be taken either way.
The tomahawk chop? Do they do that? Or
they do that. They do that.
Cleveland. It was Cleveland Indians, and then Cleveland, they changed it to Braves or something, right?
No, the Braves are still the Braves. Cleveland was the Indians, but they could have worked it to where it was still the Cleveland Indians if they wanted to. If they had that Chief Wahoo mascot was the like goofy sort of, hey, I'm an Indian, and that was that, you'd be say, yeah, that's pretty offensive. So they became, I think it's the Guardians, or just some fucking stupid name. But
there we go.
Yeah, that was the Cleveland Indians was another one where they could have found tribes and worked with them and said, hey, Chief Wahoo, bit of a problematic mascot there. What can we do to keep the name and yet show respect and deference to?
Dude, the Cleveland Sitting Bulls, that's fucking rocks, man. That's a good name. It's kind of in the same vein, but in it, if you work it out with somebody, write a few donation checks, you probably let that one slide, right?
There's the big one, donation checks. But what about the other guy? So the other guy was, quote, playing homage, and it's even right in there. He darkened his face as part of a Michael Jackson Halloween costume. And again, we're two white guys talking about this. I think there's a difference between putting on the blackface and tap shoes and mame or trying to deliberately be offensive. And how different the time was 2006. If you're like, no, I really like Michael Jackson. I want to be Michael Jackson. I mean, by 2006, Michael Jackson was white anyway, but Well,
that's another thing. Okay. So look, it seems to be a pattern where these politicians get caught in blackface in years back, and the apology always ends up being way more fucked up than wearing blackface in the first place. They should just apologize, keep it short and sweet. It's not going to be great. You're not going. Here's what you say. If there's any congressman out there running around with blackface photos, in the past, you just go, I'm sorry. While I didn't think it was offensive at the time, I was very wrong. I'm very sorry. I was very drunk. That's what you say. And no matter what they ask you, to your constituents, tell them I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was drunk. Like, that's it. This guy, I looked at the video like the first time. I'm like, this is a 5-minute video. That apology's way too long, man. There's all kinds of shit that shouldn't be in there. And so because they start trying to justify it, you know what I mean? Where he's going, what a lot of people don't realize is I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. And it's like, well, that's not the issue. It's not like what. Hey, you better take that shit off unless you know the deep cuts from Off the Wall, his 1980 breakout solo album. Like that's not the issue, you know. And then he goes, well, it was a long time ago. And it's like, fair enough. You know, it was acceptable if you were dressing as a specific character to wear that back in 1980, 2006. What? Like that wasn't that long ago. And then this might not have been in the video I sent you, but I did see one with him where he said, like, not only is he a huge Michael Jackson fan, he went to the trial to protest. And I'm like, dude, that's way crazier than wearing blackface.
That's a bit much. Yeah. We've talked about the crazies that go put Free Britney. If you have enough time to go stand outside a courthouse with a, free Michael Jackson and Free Britney, or you have too much fucking time on your hands. You are doing something unproductive with your life. So if he is that hardcore a fan, I'm not saying he automatically deserves a pass, but yeah, that kind of shows it wasn't like, haha, I'm going to put on blackface and mock Michael Jackson.
Well, Mike could probably give him a slide, but like you said, in 2006, he didn't even need a blackface to address Michael Jackson. He did the racist thing to look less like the guy, which is weird, you know? But it's also like, I get being skeptical of an accuser, right? When I don't get a showing up to the trial with the picket sign going, those kids are lying. Those kids are lying. That's crazy. That's what he should be lying about. He should be defending that and not throwing that in. He should be like, no, that wasn't me at that trial with those kids are lying picket sign. I was somewhere in blackface at the time. Good day, sir.
Yes. Pedophilia, bad. Blackface, questionable. That's right. The stance he should have taken.
This is way crazier than the blackface. And it could be that I'm either not hard enough on blackface or too hard on pedophilia. But I think that this is way more fucked up than he should have just gone with the I was wrong, I am sorry, I was drunk. It's not a great answer. It's not going to get you a standing ovation at the Apollo, but it's the best you got. These guys always when they get caught with these photos, they go on some long crazy apology where they just sound nuts. And it's like, dude, literally no comment. You should have just been like, no comment, talk to my lawyers, if that was the answer you were going to get.
Not all of them, because if you remember, Democratic Virginia Governor Ralph Northam apologized for appearing. It was in his yearbook, 1980, a yearbook, a school yearbook. There was a picture of a dude in full-on mocking blackface next to a guy in a KKK robe. And it was on his page. But here's the best part. You remember, he said, the decision I made to appear as I did in this photo, and for the hurt that decision, I apologize. And everybody wanted him to step down, if you remember. What year was that?
Yeah, I vaguely remember this.
2019.
Yeah.
And they all said he should quit. He said, fuck you, I'm not quitting. And then it went away. He apologized. He stood his ground, said, I'm not quitting over something that happened in 84. And it went away. But my favorite part of that whole story, if you remember, the photograph appears in the 1984 yearbook for Eastern Virginia Medical School. So it wasn't, I'm sorry, high school. I got it wrong right there. Northam did not say whether he was wearing the KKK outfit or the blackface, because the blackface was so you could not. So I was like, he didn't want to admit which one he was. The guy being a horribly racist on either side of that racism coin. The idea that, hey, this will make for a fun Halloween costume. You go as a black person, I go as a KKK member. Hilarity will ensue. Oh,
that's right. He kept the apology tight and concise. He's like, I'm not doing some 5-minute thing where I opine on the difference between minstrel shows and dressing as Michael Jackson and how much I love the album Thriller. Like, you just sound nuts when you do that.
Did that video say where the picture surfaced? Because my favorite thing about these is with the Northam one, the photo was first reported by conservative news website Big League Politics, not Fox, but kind of like when Al Franken with the booby picture, the fake, that was reported by some conservatives. Like, did Democrats find the picture of this guy as Michael Jackson? Because it's always political. It's always one side. Oh, we got your guy doing this. Oh, we got your guy doing this. It's just funny, the back and forth.
Oh, well, I mean, with this, it definitely was. I guarantee you it wasn't It wasn't Newsmax going, "What's with the blackface Republican senator?" Like, yeah, I mean, it would have been. You can see maybe like a left leaning news place doing it on a liberal politician because they're like, I'm just going to call people out, but
Right. Because they have to cancel themselves. That's the best part is Republicans will cancel Democrats, Democrats will cancel Republicans, but Democrats will also cancel Democrats because they have to be pure in their liberalism.
Well, hey man, if you actually believe in that shit, yeah, you should go after your own people for it. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like you don't want to be like the Republicans who are always babbling about Christianity and family values and then buying Bibles from the pussy grabbing guy on his third trophy wife who's banging porn stars. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and let's use that as a segue because my favorite news story.
Hey, there's a good comment in the chat. Lead Hit says, was he doing blackface under a KKK hood? Yeah, if he was doubling down, if he was like, I came here ready for both racist costumes. I am a utility guy. Any racist costume, I got an Indian headdress under here too. I have a headdress. I'm in blackface. I have a KKK hood on top of the paint and the headdress. I've got all kinds of stuff.
Yes. That's the best way to do it. So
I'm wearing a Japanese kimono as well. I've got all the racist stuff on.
Triple down. Oh, we got two ways we can go with this. Really quickly, I do want to talk about that the Trump Bibles, because you just mentioned him, were made in China. That was my favorite news story of the week. But I do want to touch on this really quickly. Speaking of KKK, NBC News reports Bath and Body Works apologizes for a candle that shoppers say resembles a KKK hood. And I love the picture because
before you even get in the picture, when I first saw the article, I kind of rolled my eyes and I was like, yeah, but what's it really look like?
Right.
There's a lot of candles that are kind of pointy and right. Stop getting your panties in a ball. Oh, wow.
Wait.
Look like little Klansmen.
You jumped the gun because my favorite part is, so I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, come on. It's a candle. It's probably white and it has a piece of, a wick. And then you look at the candle, the packaging. The packaging makes it look like aliens. There are a whole series of these, like double-eyed, sort of pointy head, weird. They look like aliens. But then when you take it out and extend, is like, oh shit, how did that get past marketing? How did that get past testing? That is not even if you're accidentally being racist, they're like, oh, just say no. That's a bad idea. Someone's going to lose their shit on that. Send that back to how does that get cleared? How does that make it? Because this is Bath and Body Works. They don't just create something and release it. It goes through steps and stages of trials and testing, and no one pointed that out. Not a single person said this is a bad idea.
That's right. They were like, "What? It's our white Christmas candle. It's beginning to look like a white Christmas. It's come on now. That's the theme." Oh, we got a question. From YOLO Deb MLG in the chat. Team Canine or Team Feline? I'm a pussy fan. What's up? All day.
You got two Chihuahuas.
Yeah, but it was the first thing that came to mind. All right, Canine it is. I got two Chihuahuas and one cat, so technically Team Canine, but yeah.
And Frosh Boy Media is giving a shout. Always like them. Comment on our videos.
Oh, hey, what's up?
All right, let's jump over to, as said, my favorite story of the week. It turns out Trump's God Bless the USA Bibles were made in China. Now, this I love because I know for a fact, because I have written several books and Amazon does on-demand printing. So Amazon has printing services. And one of them, I know for a fact, because I have received my books from this printing company, is an hour away from me. I don't know if it's on the Illinois side or the Iowa side of the Quad Cities. So there are American publishers. This was literally a find the cheapest price. I'm sure the American publishers are $1 more, maybe $2 more because you're paying American workers. But you can't say this is outsourced because nobody could do it. They ordered, what was it? 120,000 copies of the Bible. That is 120,000 copies of published work that could have been made in America, but no, the Trump God Bless the USA Bibles were made in China. I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't know why people get angry over this shit. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah. If you Bible backwards, it actually says bow down to the Communist Party. It's in there. You have to just read it backwards. Do you think they trolled him? Do you think they put on the inside spine made in Chiiina, made in China? Do you think they did that?
I think it's just funny that, okay, I wonder if you can. I don't know. Um, if you can request, do not put a publishing or made in stamp on the Bible. Can you request that? So you say, hey, we know we're buying from you, but could you just leave that off? Because that's the only way they discover it, is it literally says on there, made in China. Just like all his ties and all his clothes. Every time he's on, it first happened on Letterman years ago, where he's like, we have to attack China, we have to attack China. And Letterman's like, hey, where are your ties made? And then he just sits there like an idiot. Everything he does is made in China. Everything's made in China. That's why we lose the trade war. We can put tariffs on their shit. I talked about this a while ago.
Hey,
Go ahead.
well, I'm sure the company in China would do it for an extra fee. However, I would be willing to bet it's a legal issue, because if you have something that it says made in China, made in Bangladesh, wherever, as opposed to made in the USA, the made in the USA one's going to sell here more. You know what I mean? Call it patriotism, call it people wanting to help out the local community, whatever. So it's like that would be a false advertisement if you were like, hey, company in China, can you print a thing for an extra fee that says made in the US of A right there?
I get that would be illegal. I'm just saying leave it off just so it says, where was this made? No fucking clue.
I mean, that dude, I would imagine it has to, that is a legal thing here. Because I don't think China and Bangladesh just started going, hey, you know what's going to make our products sell really well overseas is
Gordy says it does have to show the country of origin.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thank you, Gordy. Yeah, I mean, it would be illegal. It would be mad illegal to leave that. There's no way that China was like, hey, that country that we're strong economically with, but we kind of publicly and we're a bit of an adversary with. Let's type made here on all of our stuff and send it there. Like, there's no way that was a marketing decision by the companies making it.
Yeah. Well, it's not Tamison. I'm reading that wrong. I apologize. Said tariffs. There are certain things that get exemptions, and I did read an article that wondered if the Trump Bible would be something that got a tariff exemption, because our government decided, like right now, everybody is calling the Biden administration.
Oh, you bet your ass, dude. If he gets in there and makes tariffs, you bet your ass the Trump Bible does not fall under. Don't worry, I kept the tariffs off of the essential goods. My Bible. I've stole your religion, sold it back to you for $59.99. Yeah. I was gonna make it 75 because inflation. Biden, Kamala.
It's funny because everybody screams about tariffs, but it is such a complex issue because people are calling the Biden administration hypocritical for keeping a lot of the Trump tariffs in place, but removing others. You protect certain industries. Trump protected steel, did a good job with that. Biden is protecting electric cars because China wants to flood the America, and Biden wants to keep the auto industry solvent. You can't, if our auto industry goes belly up, man, that would fuck the economy. So yeah, you can't just say blanket statement, say tariffs good, tariffs bad. Everything is nuanced. But I bet.
Well, yeah, you use them strategically. Because it's if you want to protect certain industry, like you were saying,
like Bible printing. If you want to protect the Bible printing industry, you got to use tariffs.
Right. Yeah, but if you do it across the board, it's like, well, most of that stuff we don't really have industries for. So you only you do it for the stuff that we make here and that you're trying to revitalize or get going or protect or something like that. Yeah, you have to use them on specific things. This idea of doing 20% across the board is psychotic, especially if you're in the same vein talking about inflation and the cost of goods. It's like, dude, nothing is going to jack up the cost of goods like a 20% across the board tariff on everything.
All right. I had a pop-up ad. Next story. I'm gonna put a caveat out there. I've been to Mexico several times. Always enjoyed myself. Been to Tijuana. Been to Cabo. I've been to touristy spots. Beautiful country. Beautiful people. You got to get your shit together, though. Mexican mayor killed less than a week after taking office.
To be fair to the guy that killed him, he was in blackface. He was in blackface like very recently. I'm talking like 2012, and it's like, buddy, that's not okay. We gotta give you we gotta give you no face now. Like, we gotta take you out for that. His apology was even worse.
Good for them. Good for the cartels for taking him out because racism is bad. seriously though, okay, this is a genuine question. By the way, you're getting a
Cartels,
compliment.
broken clock right twice a day. What's up?
You're getting a compliment on your Trump impersonation.
Thank you, Rebecca G Day. Rebecca in the chat. I always feel weird about using people's like last names on these. If I'm, but
I
so
don't think
I'm
G
just
Day
gonna
is a
call
real
you
last
Rebecca
name,
in
but
the chat. Yeah, Street X DSM. I hope he gets the win. I personally would like to have my business pick back up. Well, yeah, this guy sells Trump Bibles. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like of course
you
they're
got
gonna sell
you're in the
well with
business of
Trump in
selling
office.
Trump Bibles. It's gonna
Yeah.
good. All right, seriously, genuine question. Anybody can answer in the chat. Jake, you can. Why would anyone run for office in Mexico, especially in a smaller town where you just, I mean, I get it. Mexico City is big and sprawling and you can have certain protections. But if you're in the middle of nowhere, I mean, the cartels, it's scary shit. And this is someone that's visited and I'm not fearful. I wouldn't go certain places, but my God, there's 1 week. I know I was laughing a second ago, but seriously, 1 week he gets elected and they're like, yeah, we're taking him out. It, it I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I have no fucking clue what the solution is.
It's pretty wild, man. They gotta, stop running for mayor there. I don't know what to tell you. Less mayors in Mexico. And I hate to keep agreeing with the cartel, but less mayors in Mexico.
Mayors.
YOLO Dab MLG in the chat asked, what do you guys think of Kendrick Lamar's music?
I think using the term music is very inappropriate, and I don't think of it as music. I think of it as noise. That's my opinion.
What he dude, I love Kendrick Lamar's music, especially when he was going at Drake. Holy shit, man! Drake thought he was in just a rap beef. It was like, I'm gonna talk about this guy's music and crowd size and his stupid haircut. And Kendrick Lamar was like, "You're a pedophile. Fuck you, dude." It was like, wow,
okay.
Jesus.
Here's a question for you. Here's a question for anyone watching. How come Kendrick gets to call Drake a pedophile and is like a trump card and he wins that rap battle? But when Aaron Rodgers says, boy, I bet Jimmy Kimmel doesn't want that Epstein list to come out, Aaron Rodgers is the worst person in the world. Hypocrisy. That's white racism. That's why white people wear blackface, because they get to call other rappers pedophiles, yet two millionaire celebrities can't attack one another. I'm just going off the top of my head.
Aaron Rodgers just isn't as he doesn't have the charisma
that
Kendrick Lamar has. What he needs to do is team up with Kendrick Lamar, and they should both do a roast song about Jimmy Kimmel being a pedophile. That's the move. That's the move you got to do. You can't just sit there. Any lazy assholes can sit there on a podcast and call people pedophile. We do it every weekend. You know what I mean? Like, we're nothing special. No, Kendrick Lamar. Aaron Rodgers was sinking to our level instead of rising to Kendrick Lamar's when it comes to calling people pedophiles.
To be fair, we basically just accuse one another of being pedophiles. We have yet to accuse others, but
you're right.
We yell at each other.
We do it lazily. Aaron Rodgers did it the way we did it. You know, it's like I would expect more of a top A-list superstar level quarterback. I would.
All right, last story. We are down to 5 minutes. Dear Abby, I cheated on my wife with an 80-year-old woman. Can I still keep my marriage? All right. So, another 80-year-old dude, 70s. My wife and I are both in our mid-50s. Due to a medical issue she has, we rarely have sex. Overshare, didn't want to read that. I don't really think about it.
No, he didn't give too many details. It's important if you're going to talk about cheating on her, I feel.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, there's cougars, there's being 20 and banging a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old. They're 50 banging an 80-year-old. Think of the hottest 80-year-old you know. Think of the sexiest 80-year-old you know. I'm drawing a blank even as I try and put out there. I can't, and still I can't. There's nothing there that gives. Isn't that like an automatic like anti-Viagra?
Well, it would be. But I didn't see this 80-year-old. Was it Martha Stewart? Is this guy talking about Martha Stewart? Because if so, I am on this man's side. I saw those pictures of Martha in the, in Variety or whatever that was. So I think, I got to see pictures of the 80-year-old first.
Okay. I'm just going off judgment. I'm being judgmental. I should wait for pictures.
Sure. Your average 80-year-old. Not as hot as your average 57-year-old. But then again, 80 to 57, we're not jumping up the crazy amount that we're looking at it from.
Yeah.
So
I do love the quote, though. So this guy, my wife has met Edie. So the dude is the dude, and Edie is the 80-year-old. One day recently, Edie was having a bad day and was crying about wanting to feel alive. One thing led to another, and we wound up having sex.
Hell
Now she
yeah.
has, quote, awakened and always wants to engage in sex when I see her.
Boom. Look
Until
at that.
now,
He
I never
gave her
cheated on my wife.
dick-to-mouth resuscitation,
good
and
for
now
you.
she's back alive. He's a miracle worker. Sir, you're doing the Lord's work.
But just one thing led to another.
That's right.
Who? Oh God, there's a comedian. He writes for Saturday Night Live. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He has a great bit about getting cheated on, where she's like, "It was an accident." He's like, "No, nothing happens by accident. You don't accidentally bake a cake. You don't like, oh, I got flour and sugar and mix and
That's right.
milk, and I mixed it all up with eggs and I put it in an oven. Oh fuck, I bake a cake. I can't remember
I
who it is,
slipped.
but yeah, these
I
things
fell.
don't happen by accident.
I tripped and fell right into an 80-year-old woman nude and bent over a walker. These things happen.
I
I'm
do
a
give you
clumsy
credit
man.
for being generous and saying you want to see the picture, because I immediately,
That's
like,
right.
the name is Edie. I immediately, my mind goes to Ethel. Like you say, 80-year-old. I'm like, oh, it's just I start to irp. And so yeah.
That's right. That's right. No, I think they're both, but clearly this guy likes her. I think she's popping those fake teeth out and bringing him back to life. Hey, listen, your young 57-year-old wife can't do this. She's giving the old gum train. You know what I mean?
There you go. All right, I can be found. We have 2 minutes left, but there's no time for a new story. That was a pretty good way to finish off. I hope you enjoyed our first live attempt. I got sun on my face because I keep trying to sneak away from it. I can be found at Nathan.
Oh, YOLO, real quick. YOLO Deb MLG said that brought up that it was a little bit of a twisted thing with the pedophile thing.
Yeah.
Because he brought up Jay-Z covering for Diddy and all that. I personally think Diddy was framed by the Clintons. Anyway, what were you saying? Go ahead.
I was saying that I can be found at nathantimmel.com, 1 hour comedy special on YouTube, t-shirt store on nathantimmel.com, other stores. I've mentioned I wrote books. There you go. Jake can be found at Jake Vevra on all social media platforms. Going live is nothing new for him. He does it every Thursday night with the Twisted Cupid podcast.
Actually, that's on hiatus. That's on hiatus, but look for my new special, Unalived by Dog Pills. It will be out on YouTube by the end of the month.
And just for anybody, because we have a moment, if you listen to us regularly, you know that when he says unalived by dog pills, that is a true story. As a teenager, Jake was on a bender, ran out of fun things to take, said, let's try these dog pills. Next thing you know, he was waking up. Were you in a coma for 3 days? Waking up in an ambulance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're waking up in the hospital. Who says it wasn't fun, huh?
So it's hilarious. All right. Thanks for tuning into our first live attempt. And the Idiots on Parade podcast can be found wherever you find podcasts if you just want to listen. All right. Goodbye.